All right. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint, and we're going to be spending the next 50 minutes or so together. I'm going to be going through what DuePoint is, what we do, who we are. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. Let's begin. You are at DuePoint's head office. We're actually a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. They are a registered insurer in South Africa, one of the few registered insurance companies. That's their building in the background. They're based just down the road from us in Randburg. That's their little orange logo over there. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there, and you'll notice in our foyer above the water cooler, we've got all our FSP licenses on display. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, we've got our FSP license, and we also have our accreditation with the direct selling and the direct marketing associations. So lots of certificates. Why? Because we take credibility very seriously here at DuePoint. You've probably never heard of the business before if you're one of the guests here this evening. It's very important for you at this stage of the presentation to start building some trust with the company that we're going to be speaking about. That's a fundamental aspect of creating any partnership between yourselves and us. So this is the executive and management team here at DuePoint. The three people on the far left are all registered chartered accountants. Brendan on the far left is not an usher. He's actually the senior executive here at DuePoint. I know he likes to usher everyone up the seats. Move up the seats, right? That's what everyone gets. So we're very lucky to have him heading the division because he's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. His father's actually a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His father founded a number of financial businesses around the world, most of which have been successful. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps, and they went on to found a company down the road called PMD, or Prime Meridian Direct, a very successful short-term insurer. I think they're the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country at the moment. Then we've got Tim Reynolds. He's got a lot of experience in corporate banking. He was with the First Rand Group before he joined us. Fairly senior position he had there. He reported directly to the board of executives, and he heads up all our financial, our auditing, and our regulatory aspects of business. Stacey supports him in that. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She was working with Deloitte all her working career. She worked here as well as overseas in Luxembourg before she came back to South Africa. We convinced her to join the team here. And then the two non-accountants, Jane and myself. Jane's got a lot of experience in direct selling and direct marketing. She's from York in the UK, so if you get to speak to her, you'll notice she's got a Yorkshire accent. It's not a funny lisp or speech impediment that she has, although she's been in South Africa for 10 years. But her experience is key to this business because even though we're an insurance company, our marketing model is based on referral marketing or network marketing, and she brings that experience to the table. Then myself, I've worked primarily in marketing and advertising most of my working career. I started a digital agency in the mid-90s, late 90s, and ran that for almost 20 years before I exited that business and I joined the team here at DuePoint. So these are the individuals that you're going to be dealing with if you look at partnering with this business. Again, I hope that the individuals up here lend to the credibility of our business. We talk about creating a partnership with a company, but in essence, it's really with the people that you're going to be dealing with. So again, also a very fundamental step that you trust the people that you're going to be dealing with. And, you know, it's in our mandate. It's in our mandate to see our wealth engineers, the people that join this business, being successful and effective. Because as a business, we can only be successful and profitable if our wealth engineers are doing well. Okay, so we have this common interest to see you do well. Okay, so important step. All right, so why are you here this evening? Like I said, everyone else seems to be out having fun, doing what they do the night before a long weekend. But you're here listening to me. What did the person that invited you tell you that you could expect? Did they say, well, do you want to make more money? Are you interested in a financial opportunity? What was the hook for you? We typically discuss some of the driving behavior that gets people to come look at these financial opportunities. And generally it's all bad news, right? Because if everything was roses, we wouldn't be here because we would not be stressed at the end of the month. We'd be having great annual return every year, the economy would be going well, we wouldn't have any stress about retirement, about the cost of groceries, but that's not the case, is it? Unfortunately, the economy is in a dismal state. The last 6 months, we're basically in a recession, which means the economy is actually shrinking, which is terrible, terrible, because it's exactly the opposite of what the country needs at the moment. We've got 9 million people that are unemployed. 50% of the workforce, 9 million people sitting at home, able and willing to work, sitting at home, not doing anything. Not doing anything. It must be massively stressful for themselves, for the household. To exacerbate that, we've got interest rates going up. I'll think about the news that I saw today. I'm not even going to bring up what I saw in the news today, but we've got all these issues, right? And the economy plays out in a number of ways personally for each of us. We see, like I said, the unemployment, retrenchment is becoming prolific in our lives. We cannot depend on our employers anymore. Every year we're begging for a 7-8% increase just to keep our salary in line with inflation. Because if you're not getting that increase every year, your salary is actually devaluing every year, right? And this is something that we don't actually realize sometimes. So we have the economy not doing us any favors in our personal finance situations. The other thing is this 4-letter word that you see on the screen, debt. Now, debt is actually something that we have control over. The economy is something that we don't have control over. That may be very frustrating, but you have control over debt. No one forced debt down your throat. Right? We often afforded debt the moment you earn a salary. That salary got paid into a bank account, and financial services businesses and other companies, when they see that you earn a salary, they go, right, I can depend on you to pay your debit order every month. Right? And they'll offer you a host of different products and services. But a lot of the debt that South Africans engage in are things like credit cards, personal loans, educational loans, buying a car and paying it off over 4 or 5 years, getting a home loan and paying that off over a space of 20 years. And this is very much debt that people accept as being normal, right? And think back to the first little bit of debt you had in your life. That first little bit of debt, whether it was an overdraft or a credit card or Edgar's account, whatever it was, it probably happened very early in your life, right? It wasn't something that you took 10 years to decide, right, I'm going to take on a little bit of debt because I want to do this. You were like, right, I'm earning a salary, let's get the Woolworths account and the Edgar's account and go on a shopping spree. That's what I did, I think, when I was younger. So we have all these debt instruments, but financial services businesses and all these other companies also offer the public savings and investment products. Unfortunately, South Africans don't engage in savings and investment products. Very few of us. The average South African only starts looking at investments when they're in their 50s, right? Which is far too late. It is far too late. For any investment or savings product to be effective, you have to start it early. You have to start it early. But I've come up with this idea of why people only start looking at investments and savings later in life. It's because they are so close to retiring that they actually do it in a panic. And they don't do it sooner because they've adopted so much debt in their lives that they actually only become debt-free at that stage of their lives. Because at that stage of your life, when you're in your 50s, it's probably the first time that you've actually finished paying your bond off. You've probably started to learn these lessons throughout life. Why they don't teach us financial lessons at school, I don't know why. You've got to kind of figure this out yourself as you grow up, unless you go study accounting or some BCom degree. But we're all out fending for ourselves. We realize, stop engaging in debt. We pay off our bond when in our 50s. If you have kids, you probably only get the kids out the house when you're in your 50s. And so for the first time ever, are you now able to actually invest in a savings product or an investment? In a panic, because you know that your retirement is 5-10 years around the corner, right? Which leads me on to my next slide. So this is some data that was published on the Fin24 website late last year. It was predicated on the rising mortality rate. So the article was based on the rising mortality rate in South Africa, right? Because of medical services, health services, technology, people are living longer every single year. So currently in South Africa, the mortality rate for women is 74 years of age, right? So the women dying today, on average, are around the age of 74. Men are younger. We want to get out sooner. We don't want to outlive our wives. But us sitting in the room, we're probably going to live to our 80s, right? And people born in 10 years are going to live to their 90s. And so we have this rising mortality rate. At the moment, we've got over 4,000 people that are over the age of 100 in South Africa. Did you know that? 4,000 people over the age of 100. And so this data is based on that, because in the old days, financial planning used to look at the mortality rate. So if you went to a financial planner and they said, okay, you're going to retire at 60, you're probably going to die at 74. So you only need to save enough money to last you 14 years, 15 years, right? But now with people living till 90, 100, that changes. It has significant impact on your savings, on your retirement planning, okay? So based on that, they said, well, if you want to derive 5,000 Rand a month in income, once you retire, you have to have R1 million sitting in the bank. So you need R1 million invested, a cash investment, sitting somewhere that'll pay you out only 5,000 Rand a month, but it'll pay you out that amount of money for the next 30 years, okay? And that 5,000 Rand a month is actually going to eat into the capital investment. So at 90, it runs out. So you can't live to 91. Because then you're really going to suffer. Can't find a job at 91 either. But that's not a dignified retirement, is it? Anyone able to cope on a 5,000 Rand a month salary? You and your spouse? Not possible, right? 26,000 Rand a month? You need 5 million Rand invested by that stage. If you're under the age of 25 or so, you've got time to engage in responsible retirement planning because you've got time on your side. So here it tells you, you want to get into this position by the time you're 60. From the age of 20, you save 800 Rand a month for the next 40 years, right? Without interruption, you'll be in a position where you've got R1 million cash investment. 5,000 Rand a month, you're going to be glory days when you hit retirement, right? Not. 5 million Rand, you only need to save 4,000 Rand a month for the next 40 years. And that monthly contribution has to increase by 7-8% annually because it has to stay in line with inflation, right? Anyone doing this? I can tell you next to no one does this. Nobody does this. 2% of our population get to retirement financially independent. That's 98% of us getting to retirement. And what happens? You get told, woo, retirement, maybe the company has a bit of a party for you. They give you a little present, maybe a gift voucher for Sandton City, and send you on your way. And at the end of the next month, you don't get a salary. And you are completely dependent on what you've done from a retirement planning point of view. So now you go look at your investments. And you realize, well, I've only, if you're lucky, saved R1 million in cash. And now I'm getting 5,000 Rand a month instead of the 20 that I was used to. What options does that leave you with? Downgrade, sell the house, move into a caravan or a small house, or you've got to move in with your children. You become dependent on your children. Do you see the generational cycle of financial issues that happens? We don't want our wealth engineers to be in this position. Out of all of this negativity, as an enterprise, as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a platform for the average South African to break out of the cycle, okay? So we designed something called the DuePoint System, and basically we have 3 aspirations, 3 goals for our wealth engineers. The first goal is to see our wealth engineers become debt-free, completely debt-free. If you're 20, 25, you're probably not even thinking much about debt. Life is too good, but when you get to 30 or 40, you've probably got a considerable amount of debt. We get statistics from the FSB every single year that paints a picture of what personal finance looks like for the average South African. 50% of South Africans that have debt in their lives are under debt review. That means they haven't paid the financial service provider that they owe money to for 3 months in a row. They're going to have the sheriff knocking on their door soon. That's 50%. That's half the working population, pretty much, under debt review currently. Okay, dismal state. So the first goal is to see you become debt-free. Debt-free completely. It would be an awesome place to be, debt-free. The second goal that we have for our wealth engineers is start investing in an investment that you can depend on, that you can look forward to. Often people, what we do is we get into the cycle of debt and we rest on the laurels of having a home loan. We think, oh, I've got all this debt and I'm getting my salary, but at least I'm paying off my house, right? And you pay that house off for 20 years. You're paying back the bank 2.5 times the value of that asset. And then what happens? Right? You've paid it off, but you're still living in it. So how's that an investment? You would have to be one of those people that then sells the house and moves into a smaller house or a caravan or with your kids, to suddenly realize your house as an investment. So our second goal is for wealth engineers to engage in a real investment that you can look forward to in 5 to 20 years' time. The third aspiration happens on its own. We want to see our wealth engineers just happier. Don't look so glum. Right? This is why we're here this evening. My plan is to make you happier. Because I promise you, if you become debt-free, there's no educational loan, no home loan. You're not paying your car off anymore. You pay for your kids' schooling a year up front. You don't have credit cards. You don't have an Edgar's account. You don't have Woolworths. You're not paying for groceries you ate last year. All the money that comes into your account stays there until you decide what you want to do with it. Picture that, right? Not many of us in that position. Very few of us. I promise you'll be happier at the end of the month. The amount of stress that financial issues causes you is unbelievable. The drought that South Africa experienced, when was it? About 18 months ago, right? 18 months. Worst drought in like 100 years. Do you know that the suicide rate of farmers went up 50% after that drought? You want to talk about financial pressure? Go speak to farmers. They sink their life savings into their work. Horrible. We do not want that for our wealth engineers. So how does the system work? Basically, our guests here this evening, you've got the opportunity to join DuePoint. You actually contract with us. We call you wealth engineers. You would have realized that by now. And as wealth engineers, we want you to do only one thing. That is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And we'll speak about these channels of distribution in a little more depth. But through these channels of distribution, you're really going to be introducing people to us. We will then, through our online platform, attempt to place products with these people. And if we're successful in doing that, that's really what your channel of distribution is. And that is how this business works. As simple as that. The benefit for you, for the wealth engineers, that you get to create an additional income stream out of this business. Okay? This is the only way you're going to pay your debt off any faster. The system is designed to supplement your income, not replace it. This is not supposed to replace your day job. This is going to require additional time from you over and above your work to make this business work. The nature of a business allows you to create recurring income. This is one of the wonderful benefits of certain financial service businesses, especially insurance companies, is that the effort that you put in 1 month doesn't pay you only at the end of the first month. It can pay you, so let's say June's efforts can pay you at the end of June, at the end of July, August, September, October, November. You can be in a position where you've built up enough of an asset, a sustainable asset, that say in 5 years' time you can go on 3 months of holiday, not look at your business for 3 months, and every month we'll still be paying you. Right? Awesome position to be in. The power duplication, this is leverage. I spoke about you're going to have to contribute extra time to this business. At least we leverage the time that you spend in this business. What is leverage? It's power of duplication. It's you being able to derive or put more time into a business than you personally have. It's like being the CEO. The CEO's got the same amount of hours as you and I, but he's getting paid way more than we are. And he's getting bonuses at the end of the year. Why? Because he's leveraging all of his staff to contribute and invest into his business that he derives value out of. And this business gives you the same opportunity. So when you build these channels of distribution, you're actually building a team that you're going to be collaborating with. And you might have 10, 20 people that you're working with that are all investing time into your business that'll pay you a greater recurring income at the end of every month. This is a flexi-time business. Now, this is initially, I used to speak to this point and say, well, it's flexi-time. You can do it whenever you want. It's so convenient. And what I've learned over the last year is actually it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it is convenient because you can do it when you want to do it. But if you want to be successful in this business, and this is a very important point, because don't think you're going to be successful in this business if you're only doing it when you have spare time. This evening, if by the end of this presentation you've decided this is a business you're interested in, I want you also to have decided, well, how is this business going to fit into my schedule, into my week? Because if you can't decide that, I promise you, it'll be like one of those New Year's resolutions that you look at for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you forget about it. It's human nature, I promise you. We've had 20, 30,000 people come through our doors. I've started to see the pattern in people, right? So I'm telling you, at the end of this presentation, you decide how you're going to schedule DuePoint into your diary. Because because you're going to have to sacrifice somewhere, whether it's the evenings in the week, like a lot of our wealth engineers do, or whether you're going to contribute, you're going to invest your Saturdays to DuePoint, or the weekends, or however you do it. But it's going to have to be scheduled in some fashion. There's no startup capital. There's no registration fees in this business. There's no 12 or 24-month contract that we sign you into. It's a very low-risk endeavor that we're going to be speaking about. There's no qualifications or experience required. That's notable because we work in financial services, a heavily regulated industry, and we actually contract you out of all of that obligation. So that's a great thing for you. Unfortunately, I've got to comply with all this regulation, which is fairly painful. You get to build an asset, another very important point, because if I propose to you that you have to contribute spare time or find time, this is time that you're going to be watching TV or spending with your family or your kids or doing whatever, watching sport, at least know that the time that you're investing into this business, into this asset, you have legal ownership over. It's treated as a legal asset that you own, right? This flies in the face of employment, because all of us, if you're employed, are working for some other business, someone else, for 40, 45 years. You're pretty much giving your life to this other business. Do you have ownership over it? How many shares do you have? Are you getting a dividend check every quarter? No, 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 no. This business, you have legal ownership over this asset. There's no selling required. This is a great one. This should put a smile on everyone's face, because I'm sure when the person came to speak to you about DuePoint, you said, what's the products? What are we selling in this business? What are we selling? And you probably looked around for some boxes of vitamins or shakes or whatever it is that you expected to be selling. Again, we contract you out of selling. You're not allowed to sell in this business. We do all the selling, and that's a great benefit for you, because we're not all great salesmen. There's no stock. Obviously, we're a financial services business. Our products are intangible. We don't run out of them. They don't take up space in your boot. You don't have to find space at your house for them, right? You don't have stock issues. So we make this business as convenient and as easy to get involved with as possible. Okay, and this is all predicated on these channels of distribution that we want you to go out and grow, build. So it begins with you, right? You come to the presentation, you're so impressed with what I've told you tonight, you become a wealth engineer, and you go out, and all we want you to do is tell people about the business opportunity. As simple as that. Tell people about the DuePoint business opportunity, not about the products. Okay? And if you're successful in that, if you can get people to come to the presentation or tune into the live stream or watch one of the videos we have on the USB sticks that we have available, and they're also convinced by the business and they join and they take out a product, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. See? You put in enough effort in to get 5 people into the business with you. And now they are collaborating with you to build this business, because they've gone out and spoken to their friends, acquaintances, families, colleagues, and they've been partly successful. And those people that have joined the business gone out and done the same thing. This is leverage. This is power of duplication. This is organic growth that takes place. This is what your asset looks like, that you've invested just that little bit of time to bring 5 people into the business. This is potentially what it can look like after time. Okay? So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. And next month, there'll be a few more people and products, and your recurring income will increase every time this channel of distribution grows. Okay. So this is my warning slide, my disclaimer slide. Take a look at the pretty ballerina's feet. We make the mistake of picturing business like the left leg, the left foot of a ballerina. Pretty, petite, wrapped in a little ballet pump. Right? Anyone gone to watch the ballet at State Theatre? It's lovely. But in actual fact, to be a professional ballet dancer, that's what your foot actually looks like. It's fairly nasty. I dated a ballet dancer, so I know. Right? But this lady wanted to be a ballet dancer. She wanted to be a professional ballet dancer. She was willing to go through all of this. We make the mistake of thinking, oh, successful business. That person's so lucky. Look at their nice car. They've got the nice wife or the nice husband. The dog's even good looking. Nice suburb that they live in. And we think it just came easily. It doesn't. If you've ever tried starting your own business, you'll know that it's very easy to start your own business. But to make it successful is a whole nother story. 95% of businesses fail in the first 12 months. 95%. Who would want those odds, right? That should scare most of us away. But fortunately, you've got a very experienced team behind you. We've done business like this before. We've shown that we're successful. We're accredited. We're regulated. So we hedge those poor odds in our favor greatly. But I don't want you making the mistake of coming here this evening. You've probably never heard of DuePoint. You probably thought it's one of those presentations that I've been invited to, because there are many of those floating around the country. We are not one of them. We're nearly a 70-year-old insurance company. We've been around for a very long time. We're listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a company called Conduit Capital. This business doesn't smell anything like a get-rich-quick scheme. And I'll never tell you, I will never lie to you and say that this business is easy, because it isn't. It is not. You've got to put in the time. Like I said, schedule the time. Make it easier for yourself. But you've got to put in the time, the sacrifice. You've got to get through the frustration. This is very much a people business. If you don't like people, after tonight you're going to start liking people or tolerating them as much as you can, right? But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to commit, persist, I promise you there is success for you. And not short term. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, the business is not working for me. No, you come complain to me after you've been doing this for a year and tell me that you're frustrated. Even our most successful wealth engineers, they can still come sit with me once a month and complain. That's fine. You can come complain to me. We know it's frustrating. So I'm warning you now, don't expect short-term gains in this business. It doesn't exist in any aspect of life. So this is the returns. The returns is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month, depending on how many products they have in their qualified channel. So we pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your qualified channel. And remember, those first 5 individuals that you introduce to the business yourself, those individuals lie on your first point. These are people that you personally introduced. They lie on your first point, and on your first point, we give you double the R27.50. So actually, all the product on your first point, we pay you R55 for every product every month. Remember, it's recurring income every month. And then your second point's the same. You're going to get R55 every month going forward on those products. On your third point, you see the multiplier now drops to 100%, and then it keeps dropping all the way to your 8th point. At your 8th point, we're paying you 4% of the R27.50 as your channel starts to grow. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you on how large your channel can get. So from your 8th point to infinity, in theory, we will keep paying you 4% for every product that gets put into your channel beyond that point. Right? We don't limit you on the size of your channel. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. The accountability lies with you. Okay, so this is the mechanics of our returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. The next natural question is, well, how much money can I earn after a certain amount of time? Right? After 2 months or 3 months or a year, or you talk long term, what can I expect after 5 years in this business? So we built this thing called the path to success. It is dependent on a growth model. So it assumes that a new wealth engineer can bring 3 people into the business in the first month, right? 3 in the first month, and then every consecutive month thereafter, only 2 people a month. So we call it the 3+2 growth model. 3 in the first month, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, into perpetuity, okay? If you can do that, if you can follow that growth model, which doesn't sound too hard, does it? You can expect these numbers. So after 6 months, you'll be earning about R2,500 in recurring income. I'm sure we'll all go, yes, I'd love to have R2,500. Are you willing to put the 6 months of work down? Does that sound worth it? 6 months of work to get just R2,500. R2,500 buys you a nice handbag, maybe a cover for your iPad, maybe a lunch, right? Is it a lot? Too little? Trying to gauge the reaction on R2,500. If I had the cash in my pocket, your light will probably face up. But I'm saying to you, 6 months of work and you're going to get R2,500. But let me give you some context, because you'll start to recognize a common theme in our business, and that is the goal of getting our wealth engineers to debt-free status, right? So you're not going to take the R2,500 now that you're earning as a supplementary part of your income and go spend it on lunch or on shoes. You're going to put it into the debt that you have. So here's an example of an individual with R1 million debt. R1 million debt take forever to pay off, right? But you go to the bank and you say you need a bond. They give you the bond based on your credit history and your salary. And at the current interest rate, you're probably going to be paying R11,500 a month for the next 20 years. Long-term commitment, right? After some success at DuePoint, 6 months later, you're earning 2,500 rand. You take that money and you place it as an additional payment into your bond. What is the net effect of that little 2,500 rand? It is going to reduce the term on your bond from 20 years to 11 and a half years. If you're 30-something and you've taken this bond out, you normally would have been paying the bond off only when you're in your 50s. But that little 2,500 rand can have the effect where you now pay your bond off while you're in your 40s. It gives you almost 10 years extra to put money into an investment instead of a bond. Do you know how much money that 2,500 rand saves you in repayments? Any guesses from the guests? The wealth engineers all know this because they've watched this presentation 100 times. Any guesses how much 2,500 rand will save you? It's going to save you R1 million. It saves you 100% of the value of the asset. Isn't that mind-boggling? I didn't believe it when the accountants came up with this path to success. I had to go double-check it. Go double-check it. Saves you R1 million. We need to start thinking about debt differently in our lives because it is crippling. It cripples the country, it cripples families, and it puts us in a cycle that we typically only break out of when we're in our 50s. And then we straight back to square one when we retire, when our salaries get cut off. Okay. You keep going. After 12 months, you're making about 100,000 rand of recurring income annually. Anyone get 100,000 rand bonus this year? Don't put your hand up. The people come ask you for money at the end of the presentation. You keep going. 24 months, nearly 30,000 rand a month. Do you believe that? Can you picture it? Can you picture getting an extra 30,000 rand into your account every month? After 36 months, nearly 50,000 rand a month. Here's an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. You're earning about 37,000 rand at that point. You place that as an additional payment into your bond. You'll reduce the term on your bond from 20 years to less than 7 years. I turned 40 last year. Get to this point. Pay my 5 million rand house off by the age of 47. Right? Buy another house. Why not? Buy another house. By the age of 54, I've paid off 2 houses. 5 million rand each. By the age of 61, I paid off my 3rd house. I now have 15 million rand in property assets. I'm living in the one, renting the other 2 out. 60, 70,000 rand a month in passive income just from the property that I've invested in. Or I can sell all 3 houses and buy a 15 million rand home to go retire in. Do you see the options that a supplementary income gives you? We have to start thinking 20 years down the line. At least for me, I'm 40. If you're younger, you've got more time. If you're older, you've got less time. But start planning. Where are you going to be in 20 years' time? The problem is when we're in the cycle of employment, we don't have options. So there's no point to dream about where you're going to be in 20 years' time because you're desperately just clinging onto your job trying to get by every month. If you start creating additional income stream for yourself, now suddenly you have options. Now it's like, right, I'll pay off my credit card faster. I'll pay off the educational loan off faster. I'll pay my personal loans off. I'll start paying my bond off. Little 2,500 rand. We saw the difference 2,500 rand can make. You keep going. After 48 months, you're probably close to about 70,000 rand monthly. And after 60 months, after 5 years, you've created for yourself nearly R1 million rand in recurring income annually. I don't think anyone even connects with that example. It's so beyond us. R1 million rand annually. When do you tell your boss what you really think about him in this process? Anyone got a boss they love? No one. Right. We talk about options again. Right? We talk about options. My sister's been visiting us. She's a teacher in Thailand. And she had a fallout with the owners of the school. They thought she wasn't going to come back. So they said, no, we're not paying you for your vacation. And she's got very angry and she said she's going to tell those owners what she thinks about them. And I said, hold on. You don't have options. You don't have options. You're going to go back there and negotiate and speak nicely because you don't have options. She's got a child, a family to look after, right? We talk about options in this business. Okay. So this is all academic because this is really an example that was built by the clever accountants in Excel, complicated Excel, but nonetheless an example based on this growth model that I spoke about called 3 plus 2. Do you think that 3 plus 2 after 5 years can get you to R1 million annually? It can. It can. It certainly can. But are we willing to make that commitment every single month for 60 months? It's up to you. The accountability lies with you. I fortunately have many wealth engineers that are doing more than 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 is just an example. You can do less than 3 plus 2. You can be one of those people that come in, treat it like a New Year's resolution, get excited about the presentation, think, sure, my retirement's looking great. Their life doesn't change, their diary doesn't change, their schedule doesn't change. They fit in DuePoint when they feel like it, and then they're part of the 0 plus 0 club. Guess how much they get paid at the end of every month? 0. But you can do more. So every month we've got wealth engineers that are showing success at DuePoint, and we ask them to come up onto stage and they share with us their stories. And this month we had Denzel up. You can see he joined on the 31st of August. By April, he was at 2,400 Rand. You can go look at his testimony on YouTube. He admittedly said he was a bit of a slow starter. He didn't get the business initially, which is fine, That's what business is all about. It's learning. It's about personal development, right? But giving up will never get you to where you want to be. By May, he was on nearly 5,000 Rand a month. Think back to the retirement slide. How much money did you have to have sitting in an investment to derive 5,000 Rand a month? You needed R1 million. Denzel has created, by May this year, he created for himself an equivalent of R1 million cash investment sitting there. And that retirement slide said to us, save for how long? 40 years! How many months away? How many months away for you to create that for yourself? And he's doubled his income in a month. The man is on fire. He is here almost every single night. He does training constantly. Great example of what it takes to be successful here at DuePoint. Then we've got Nonkabela from the Eastern Cape, East London to be specific. Look how long ago she started. Someone looked at the screen and said, she started just the other day. I said, 2016. And she did nothing for an entire year. But the difference was that she knew someone in the business that was doing well in the business. And even though she didn't speak to that person, she saw on their Facebook timeline the success that they were having and how it was impacting their lives. And then suddenly, she got involved. She got engaged. She started speaking to people. April, 3.6. Went up 1,000 Rand in a month. Look where it's sitting at now. June is not finished. This number will rise before the end of the month, right? So this is the debit order run that we're going to be running on her channel of distribution this month. Guys, it's up to you. These are not special individuals. We are all the same. We're human. We're not computers. We're not robots. We will join. We'll be despondent. We'll get frustrated. Some of us will come out the blocks like sprinters. Others will take our time. The only difference between people that are successful and the people that are not successful is the people that aren't successful are the ones that gave up. You go speak, you can read any business consulting book, a leadership book, they'll tell you the same thing. Always the same thing. You have to be persistent. Never give up. You listen to any success story on anyone. It's about not giving up. So, she joined us in the middle of 2016. She was pretty much on fire from the beginning. 3 plus 2. This lady could put 40 people into her business in a month. Right? And she struggled a little bit last year. She went through also frustrations, dealing with people letting her down, people getting excited, joining the business, not paying for their products. And she said to me at the end of last year that she has to actually start this business again because she's been doing it wrong. But look at the success that she's had since January. We're begging for a 7-8% increase from our employers. Do you think she's had to beg for a 7-8% increase in this business? For the first time, she's got a little bit of control over her income, right? And that's the option that we speak about, is you have the option of taking control of your income instead of depending on your employers to get you there, or the economy to miraculously suddenly turn around and change and be glorious for everyone. It's not going to happen. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that are earning at DuePoint. We know the system works. It's just about you getting engaged and making it work for yourself. And the system is the same for everybody, for everybody. These are not special individuals with psychology degrees or human behavior degrees. They're just normal people, some with matric, some without matric, some with corporate backgrounds, others with that don't have corporate backgrounds. Some have got degrees, some don't. The difference is they're just putting in the time in the business. Okay, so that's the returns. Again, the returns is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. Over and above that, we've got the XP Rewards program, right? So the XP Rewards program works like this. You become a wealth engineer and you start engaging in normal wealth engineer behavior, which is coming to presentations, bringing guests with you, introducing people to the business, logging into the website. When you do these things, we give you something called XP, experience points. And the more points you start to gather, right, it is an indicator of how active you are as a wealth engineer. It's got no monetary value, it's just points. And when your business starts to grow, when those two things are happening, we give you rewards over and above the returns we're paying you. So you see those 5 TVs over there? That's part of the XP Rewards program. So here's the whole table. Our guests, if you become wealth engineers this evening, you'll have the illustrious title of being rank 0 wealth engineers, but very quickly you can get to rank 1. I reckon within a day you can get to rank 1. You only need 1,000 XP, and you need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you do that, we'll be paying you a return at the end of the month. But we also, through the XP Rewards program, will be giving you 55 Rand reward when you get to rank 1. But as you start to have success and more success, and you're growing and you're collecting more XP, you start to rank up in the XP Rewards program, and the rewards get bigger and better. Okay, so there you see 400 Rand, 1,500 Rand, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give tools to our wealth engineers that make you more effective at building this business. So here's a very special little memory stick that you get at rank 5. Here's Patrick and Pumi with theirs. The beauty of this little device is that it literally plugs into anything. Android phones, Apple phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, doesn't matter. Plugs into everything. More importantly, it's got our video collateral on that little stick, so Patrick and Pumi can show people the business regardless of where they are, what device they have on them. Okay? At rank 7, we're about to get another 3 sets of rank 7 cards printed or manufactured, should I say, this month. They cost us 12,500 Rand a set. Extremely expensive because they are expensive. They're 4 times thicker than any other card. You can go look at them in the merchandise cabinet. They look like little blocks of gold because the edges are gilded in gold. The logo is foiled in gold. There's no ink on these cards. That's why I say they're not printed. They're actually manufactured. But the importance of these cards is around credibility, because people typically have never heard of DuePoint before. We don't have some global brand that everyone's aware of. So when you go speak to people, they've never heard of DuePoint, so they don't give you too much credibility. But when you put a 12,500 Rand business card in their hands, which is about 30, 40 times more valuable than the business card they've got in their wallet, you suddenly have credibility. They'll give you a little more time to explain the business, right? So these are tools to make you more effective. At rank 9, this is one everyone gets excited about. Yes, you can hear. So at rank 9, this is not a once-off reward. When you get to rank 9, this is a reward that you are going to enjoy with your family every single year. Every single year. Our rank 9s and upwards get to come on this international conference paid for by DuePoint every single year. So take a look. This is where we're going at the end of this year, and this is available for everybody in the room. Everyone in the room. You can take 5 months to get to rank 9. You can take 10 years to get to rank 9.
When all of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun, where no one can see. You stand on the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself
Yes. You've got to say yes to both the questions at the end. So we've got 3 families already that have qualified for rank 9. One gentleman did it in 5 months. We've got some wealth engineers that are about to qualify. And like I said, it's available for everyone in this room. You need to make the decision now to get to rank 9. If you can get excited about that little 55 Rand at rank 1, that's what you get excited about, because rank 9 is far away. You get rank 1 right, the rest of the ranks are the same as rank 1. The behavior is the same. The activity is the same. It's a straightforward business. At rank 11, guess what happens at rank 11? We don't hire a car and take you around for the weekend. We buy a car cash and we give it to our rank 11 wealth engineers. And there you can see. That's the car Patrick and Pumi were rewarded a couple of weeks ago. You can see, in our parking lot. They drove off. They drove off in that car, and at the end of the month, there was no debit order. Except for insurance and petrol. So we take becoming debt-free for our wealth engineers very seriously. You can see throughout this entire presentation, everything is geared to get you out of the cycle. And this is just rank 11. You saw that the table went down to rank 20. We've already designed up to rank 28. 28. We talk long-term, we think long-term in this business. The next 20 years, the next 30 years, because I promise you, if you become successful in this business, we are going to become family forever. Our kids will be running on the beach together in Mauritius. Okay. So invest in it. Schedule the time. Don't see it as a burden or some laborious task that you're forced to do it. Do it with love and passion, and you'll get through those ranks. This is our wealth quest, so this is another benefit for our wealth engineers. We run what we call a wealth quest every single month. It's a new wealth quest. What it is, it's a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers for a particular month. And this month's wealth quest, you're in the army now, basically says to you, if you can rank up in the XP Rewards program, we will give you 60 gigs of data. 60 gigs of data. This is very much a data-driven business. Everything that we do is online. There's no printed anything here in this company. So that'll come in very handy. It's 10 gigs a month for 6 months with always on. And you can see the TVs lying there. We're going to be giving those to the Wealth Quest winners from last month's Wealth Quest. And there's actually 9 wealth engineers that are going to be getting TVs tomorrow. But we've got 5 of them coming in tomorrow morning at our presentation. Okay. We get the question, after we've explained the returns and the rewards, we get the question, can DuePoint afford all of this? Are you sure you've got your business model correct? Please explain to me how this business works. It sounds too good to be true. The slide basically illustrates how our business model works. On the left-hand side, you've got traditional businesses, particularly insurance companies. They will spend a lot of money on client acquisition through all the marketing and the advertising that they do through traditional methods of marketing. DuePoint doesn't do any marketing or advertising. We don't do a stitch. You won't see our logo outside of this building. We depend on our wealth engineers, on you guys, to go out and tell people about who DuePoint is, about the business opportunity, and that's how we do our marketing. That's how we get our growth happening in the business. So instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry spends every year on marketing and advertising, we take that portion of our premium and we assign it to our wealth engineers in the form of returns and rewards. And that's basically how our business model works. Okay. What are the products? You might be thinking, wow, this guy's been talking forever and ever. He hasn't even mentioned a product yet, right? Because I want you guys to realize that you're not going out there talking about product. You're going to be speaking about the business opportunity. But I'm going to go through the products. We've got 3 products that all have different benefits. So the wealth engineers that want to join this evening, you've got the freedom of taking out one product or all 3 products because they have different benefits. Our first product is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product for 299 Rand a month. We basically open a tax-free investment account for you, and of the 299, we put 100 Rand into that investment every single month. Okay, the investment sits with Sanlam. It's managed by global fund managers. On top of that, we give you a little bit of insurance. You'll see there you get 110,000 rands worth of personal accident cover with this product. So if you have this investment product and you get killed in some form of accident, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 110,000 rand plus whatever's in the investment. The investment is not a fixed or notice deposit. You can draw the funds out of your investment within 72 hours. Okay? Doesn't mean you should do that. It's not a current account. You must leave the investment in there for it to be an investment. All right? The second product is called Wealth Guard. This is an insurance product only. Okay, for 274 Rand a month, you get 1.1 million rands worth of personal accident cover. Now, this is accessible to anyone over the age of 18 because this product doesn't profile the member from a risk point of view or a health point of view. Okay, so you can be 70 years old, you can be diabetic, you can still take out this product. It still costs 274. You still get the full benefit of 1.1 million rands worth of cover. Okay. The third product is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. This product aims to save us money on the money that we spend every month anyway. Okay. So for 274 Rand a month, you get access to the list of suppliers that we have there. And that's a growing list. But one of the most popular ones is ShopRite Checkers because we are spending a fortune on groceries every month. I reckon the average family of 4 needs to spend at least 7,000 Rand a month on groceries just to get a good, nutritious meal every single day. ShopRite Checkers is there. You get 2.5% off your full trolley at ShopRite Checkers through this Buyers Club. So we've got a host of other suppliers there. Eagle Ford's a new one. We've got a lot of retailers, and like I said, we're adding to the list all the time. We've just added, or it's about to come live, is Always On. So we're going to be offering data through Always On to these Buyers Club members for a third of the price. Data at a third of the price through Always On. Okay, so if you're looking at any product that has immediate benefit to you, it's probably this one. Great product. All right, so if you have any questions, come speak to me about the products if you like. I remind you of the support that you get here. Remember at the beginning of the presentation, I introduced you to the executive and the management team. Our mandate here is to support our wealth engineers because we want you to be successful in this business. Okay? So lean into the support. Don't become a wealth engineer and think, oh, I'm going to do this when I can, or I know how to do this business because I was involved in another business similar to this in the past, or I'm very smart, I've got 2 degrees, I'm going to do this business better than anyone else. It doesn't work. We know how this business works. Lean into the support. Watch the training that we've done. We live stream everything out to the entire country. Use that. Use it to build your channel in other provinces and other towns. You can use these facilities. You can use our boardrooms. We've got free Wi-Fi. You can even update your apps if you want to on our free Wi-Fi. We've got free tea and coffee. Make yourself at home here. We want to engage with you. We want to see you successful. So the decision slide. We're at the end, folks. You nearly made it through. You can go to the pub straight after this if you like. It's a very nice pub on the 3rd floor up here. So what is the decision you need to make this evening? I'm more interested in the people that are interested in this business that want to take that step of faith. Because it does. It requires a little bit of step of faith, as low risk as this business opportunity is. You've never heard of DuePoint up until this time. There's a step of faith that is needed. But more importantly, the decision that I asked you to make at the beginning of the presentation was, how is this business going to fit into your life, into your schedule? I know I don't have time in my life. I've got time for nothing, right? My daughter wakes me up at 6:30 in the morning, and when I get home, she sometimes stays awake, waiting for me to get home, wants a kiss, wants a tickle, and then the wife wants my time, and I have to do whatever else I have to do when I get home. There's no time in my schedule, and I know it's the same for all of us. We don't have time in our schedule. So for those of us that are interested in DuePoint, please consider how this is going to fit into your diary, because I want to see you successful. I don't just want to see you becoming a wealth engineer. That doesn't mean anything to you, doesn't mean anything to me. I want you to be one of the wealth engineers that I end up paying at the end of every month, that gets up on stage one day and says, I joined 6 months ago, I'm sitting at 5,000 Rand a month already. The person that gets a new car without a debit order at the end of the month, who I get to learn more about and learn about their families because we go to the international conference every year together for the next 20 years. I hope you like me because we're going to have to spend lots of time together. Right? But it requires this decision now. And it requires some level of maturity to go, right, this is my circumstance. The whole beginning of our presentation, as negative as it is, talking about debt and the economy and retirement. Those are very negative things for most people. You have to have that level of maturity to go, right, this is the situation. Rob's not just trying to put the fear of God into us. What he's talking about is actually giving us a realistic outlook of what majority of us can expect in life. Like, I'm 40. I thought I was going to be driving a Ferrari at the age of 25. Right? If you came and spoke to me when I was 18 in matric and said, what have you got planned? I said, buddy, I've got Ferraris and Porsches planned, and I'm going to do this and that. Fast forward 20 years, 20-year school reunion. Didn't happen. It didn't happen, folks. It doesn't happen. Even starting my own business, I couldn't make it happen for myself. We couldn't create recurring income in my business. So we paid the bills. We lived fairly good lives, my partner and myself, but there was no real success there. And I've had to learn this over the space of 20 years. And the opportunity now for everyone is to take that step and go, right, I don't want what 98% of the population is going to get. I want something different. I'm willing to commit time, invest my spare time into this business and see where it takes me. Is really committing a year of your time into something that is working for so many people that much of a risk? What have you been doing for the last 5 years? You're probably doing the same thing you were doing 5 years ago, right? Hoping things were going to get better. They aren't. You have to do something for yourselves. And I think we've got a proven business here that you can engage with that'll do that for you. Okay. So come speak to me if you have any questions around the business afterwards. We make joining very easy. Like I said, we've got Wi-Fi available for everybody. If you've got your own smartphone or tablet on you, jump onto our website. We've got iPads available too. Jump onto www.DuePoint.net. Click on that blue apply button. You become a wealth engineer in about 7 minutes. It's that quick and easy. And tomorrow, you can find those first 5 people to get into your business. You can start building your asset immediately. And I'll remind everyone, tomorrow is a public holiday. Do you know what public holidays are? It's an opportunity for wealth engineers to work because you're not spending your time at your employer's offices. Right? Most people will take tomorrow off. They can't wait. They're all out doing whatever they're doing this evening, thinking, oh, tomorrow I can take the day off. But what we're going to be doing is working. We're going to be calling people, speaking to people, building your future. That's the difference for us when it comes to public holidays. So tomorrow we've got 2 intro presentations, one at 10 o'clock, one at 12 o'clock, 12:15. The TVs are going at 10 a.m. Bring people tomorrow. It is your opportunity to start creating income for yourself. Okay, 2 opportunities tomorrow, 10 o'clock and 12:15. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. These are tools to make you more effective in this business. Please consider getting business cards. It lends to your credibility as someone that's proposing to someone else get involved in business when you give them a business card. The USB stick has got all our videos on, so very convenient. We've got a host of other merchandise. The pricing is on the counter. Merchandise is on display in the cabinet. I remind you, we've got a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. It'll notify you every time we do a live event, every time we put a new video up. So take a look at that. We've got hundreds of videos on the YouTube channel. And when you become a wealth engineer, make sure that you download the mobile app. You can run your business from the palm of your hand. You won't have to open up a computer or a laptop. You can do everything from your mobile phone. And that's it, guys. I thank you for your time so much, especially the day before a public holiday. And I look forward to seeing more of you. I'll speak to you afterwards. Thank you.